every addiction releases a kind of hormone. And they releases this cigarette, for instance, releases dopamine. Sex releases dopamine. So most of the chemical that sex release, substance addiction, whether cocaine, Igbo, marijuana, awapa, monkey tail, all of those things, they also release similar hormones. So the same method, all right, can be applied, however, with an understanding that when you're smoking, it's not the same thing as when you are having sex. So the pattern will change, but it's the same principle. The same principle can apply. Now we have over 20 of them. That's why we just wanted to do this one to stimulate your appetite to know, so that there will now begin to teach you in detail. There's no way something we do in 1 month, we finish it in 2 hours. It's not possible. Okay? So we just want to take some of your questions. Now this is a critical way. Why we prefer you write it is because it's a secret thing. We don't want to know you, so that we can also protect your privacy. So if there is is a disfavor you do yourself, you have a question, either from what I thought or what has been bothering you in that area, and you go home with it. It's totally absurd. Okay, if you have any question, just write it. Don't write your name or phone number, so that nobody will know who wrote. And please don't collect with hand. Get something like Bowel. Just put, so that you will not know whose own you collected. Please, we have just 10 minutes. 10 minutes on this, please. 10 minutes on this. We targeted to leave here by 3, and it's almost 3. So please, I'm really, really rushing. We must not add 1 minute to 3 o'clock. We must not. Yes. You have a mic? Okay, feel free to ask.
Okay, thank you, sir, for this great talk. My question is that if you know someone that is actually sexually addicted, how do you get the person to open up?
Okay. Hello. 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 When it comes to this issue of sexuality, it's an area that has social stigma. People are ashamed, people are shy, people are afraid to talk about it. And if you have anyone, you know somebody, 2 things are involved. Number 1, you must respect the person's privacy. It matters how, except you have one-on-one relationship with this person, it is unfortunate you cannot go, or maybe you caught the person in the act. So the person knew that you saw him or her doing that, so you have the right. But not that when someone told you that Mr. B is suffering from addiction, and you have no business with Mr. B, and from nowhere, you walk after no, just come, and you meet Mr. B and say, this addiction thing I'm talking, you say, who told you? You say, somebody. That's so embarrassing in the first place, and you're not going to succeed. All right? So, but if I am to be the person, I have a way of probing, raising certain discussion around certain things, and then if you are a talkative, people cannot open up to you. It's important, if you want to help people, how you talk to them. Somebody say, I slept with my mother. You say, what? What? You that I saw praying in tongues in Lontenese. I saw when you were praying in chapel. You are now a judge. Hello? That judgment, that environment of judging, you will not succeed. So it's all about, it matters who the person is, the type of communication you already have, and then find a way to penetrate. It's all about cordial penetration. That's the word, cordial penetration. Don't invade people's rights. Please, I'm going to be as fast as anything answering this. We will leave here before it is 3. It is a must. So number 1, I want to be fast. Okay, somebody say, what is the best, sorry, I should be reading these things here. What is the best precaution that can be used when you notice that there is a stop in pornography and masturbation when you engage in spiritual activity, like is it praying now and other spiritual engagement? What is the best precaution? Okay, now mutual detachment. You need to culture your environment. It matters the song you sing. It matters the song you listen to. It matters the people you are allowed to discuss around you. the simple word is to culture your environment. Culture your environment. Don't entertain anything that stimulates your sexual urge or appetite. Even if it is a friend, tell that friend to stop the discussion or you walk away. But most times we feel we have what it takes, and we usually don't have what it takes. So culturing your environment, when you have begun making, you have started making progress in the right direction, culture your environment. Now, in the group, let somebody ask me, what does it mean to culture environment? I will go deeper, right? I want us to leave this place. Now, please, sir, can you... Okay, when you... it's important you read this thing before you read it out. Eh? First of all, ask you, how did you sleep with your mother? And before you know it, you have read it yourself. Okay, so please, sir, how can you go over the explanation of mutual detachment and overshadowing artillery method? You have the details, right? There are steps to it. Mutual detachment method. These are actually biblical principles. Okay, so we will go deeper in them. You may be shocked that we will use one day to treat just mutual detachment. So, we just want to whet your appetite, stimulate it, so that we go to work in that group. So, we will discuss that because of time. I'm rushing now. Where do one start from if he or she sees having sex and watching pornography as a normal thing or a way of life? Number one is that watching pornography is not a normal thing. Whoever asks this question, know that watching pornography is not a normal thing. What is normal about all these things I taught you from the beginning of this course? What is normal about this complex weaving into a street jacket that you can't be able to wriggle out yourself? There's nothing normal about it. All right, so if you are free from this, or you know you're not doing it, prevention is better than cure. A preserved life is better than a repaired life. A preserved life is better than a repaired life. If you know that, please don't commonize addiction. Don't. How do you stop addiction of is it peeling your own pulling your own hair? Hello? So how do you stop the addiction? Okay, now this is a type of addiction. It's a behavioral addiction. Maybe when this person gets angry, start pulling her hair. That's what it is. Pulling the hair. Now you see, it's a compulsive contest that has some spiritual connotation. All right? It's not normal. And if we are to remove spiritual contest from it, then it's a terrible damage in neurological processes. All right? So people, when they get angry, they either stab somebody, or all of that is a serious case. And please, whoever asks this question, know that we are going to add you in the group. Ask this question again so that we can go deep into this. So we are rushing now. Having engaged in sexual activity in the past, do I share in his or her spiritual problem, or share with the spiritual effect or causes, and how I go away from this guilt? Yes. Hello. You say, having engaged in this thing, this intercourse, for instance, in the past. Yes, you are an accomplice. And it's first of all, you have to admit it. One thing you must avoid if you are trying to overcome sexual addiction is living in denial. When you live in denials, it does something to your soul. It postpones the feeling of guilt, which you must still feel eventually. So, but when you accept this was done, you have owned up. It has a way of bringing down the structure that guilt has built. Because have you seen people that say, even if God forgive me, I will not forgive myself? They have gone to confession, for instance, but it's not enough. They still find a way to mortify and do all of that. Now, it's a mentality problem. It's a mentality problem. You must admit, and then you seek help. Seek therapeutic help. And that's why you will be in that group to have all the questions asked. Please, I want someone to come here so that I don't mix these things up. Is he back? Stay here back. Does history of sexual addiction have any link of having an erection when you have any happy experience? For instance, when you have an erection when you receive an alert. No. No, don't laugh. Don't laugh. The denominational factor here is pleasure. Hello? One thing that every sexual addict, no matter the types of sex involved, no matter the type of sexual exhibition involved, is the quest for pleasure. All right? Pleasure. And this pleasure, because of the addiction processes, have built a level of pleasure seeking structure in the brain, which lead to what we call parasympathetic condition. Parasympathetic condition. Now we have the sympathetic nerve. Do like this. Do like this. Now that's sympathetic nerve. You can clench your finger because of the nerve. You have control. But I want you to stop breathing. Stop breathing. Check your heart. Is your heart still moving? Even though you have stopped breathing, your heart is still moving. It's in a parasympathetic. You don't have control over it. All right? So what I'm trying to say is that the configuration of addiction, which by the way is a quest for pleasure, has a way of giving a hyperactive structure of pleasure-driven system in our brain. So that even though you are through with addiction, whatsoever that can stimulate pleasure can have certain level of effect. Say, I love alert. You can see somebody who is depressed because for 1 week he has not received alert. He is depressed. Now, for an addict, that may be possible. For somebody who have not suffered addiction, that can be possible. Now, when you don't have alerts, for instance, and you're expecting alert, there's depression. And this depression causes the secretion of another toxic hormone called cortisol. Cortisol. When cortisol is released in your body, it puts your body in a state where it needs pleasure. Once cortisol comes, the body wants pleasure. And so the body will now ask, what is it that produces pleasure? If it is pornography, you will go back. That's why if you see, somebody was talking to me, a pastor. He told me that before now, when he gets angry, he masturbates. When he gets angry, he masturbates. You see, when he gets angry, the body releases cortisol. And so the body naturally wants to counter the effect of cortisol by wanting pleasure. And so the body, remember, has built attachment to whatsoever that secretes it. So since what secretes his own is masturbation, he goes to that. Have you seen somebody who is a chain smoker? When they get angry, they smoke more. Because when they get angry, the body secretes cortisol, and the body becomes in a crisis situation, needing pleasure. So the person goes to smoke cigarettes to release dopamine, and they feel good. So these are just the hormonal dynamics involved in this. Now, where do one start from if he or she sees having sex and watching pornography as a normal thing or a way of life? It's, like I say, it starts from knowing that pornography is not a normal thing, neither is it a way of life. How to erase from your memory sexual escapade you have had in the past. The guilt is always there in my memory. Now, this person needs inner healing. That's what we call inner healing, because in the journey of the inner healing, there are many factor points to bring. And there are so many things to employ, even issues like that lady that was a lesbian. The factor point you discover, one of them is that he hated men. She hated men. So you need to address hatred for men. If she can't forgive men, forget it. She will always be a lesbian. But if she can forgive men, she will get to a point where she starts having a paradigm shift from men towards women also. Sorry, from women towards men. So the person that asks this, there is an entire package called inner healing treatment method. That is what it will take to address all of this, the baggage, because these things are your subconscious or your conscious part. In the case of marriage, the husband is a gay, and have the interest of carnal sex. What will you do as the wife, or divorce, divorce or accept his choice? Number one, I see many of you who are not married. I've checked your library. I saw 20 books on how to get married successfully, 5 love languages, Gary Chapman, the love and power and purpose of marriage by Miles Muro, No More Two by but one, Billy Akani. I even saw one of the brothers looking at me now with that particular book. But I've checked that among these 20 books on relationship, not one on sex education. Not one. One of the things you must check before getting married, is the past record of the sexual life of your spouse. In the time of courtship, that's not when to do jiggy. That's not when to say the thing they come. Put the thing in check. Ask questions. There are serious issues to address. One of which, apart from character imperative, religious belief, purpose in life, is your sex profile, your previous life on sex. Because we need to know whether we will have to go and do certain kind of treatment to address issues of candidiasis, something like hepatitis, to know whether you have suffered addiction. Why? Because if you marry somebody who has suffered addiction and did not treat the addiction before the marriage, get ready, you become a sex machine. Because the person's sexual life is not hyperactive, your own may not be. So you will live your life with that person trying to keep up with. And when you can no longer keep up with, you have married an infidel. You will be sleeping out. That's why you have married people who are still sleeping out. This is one of the reasons. Number two, in the case of being an introvert, kind of having feeling for a gay, but secretly imagine things, how can you stop that act and its sex addiction? Now, gay is an aspect of addiction that requires, number one, inner healing. Number two, rigid, consistent, therapeutic profiling. Because there has to be paradigm shift, and we need to address what is causing such perverted interest for the same-sex kind of person. So you see, it is a very robust area entirely that we're just trying to say one or two things. So in that group, please, when we add you to that in that group, don't be dormant. Ask questions. In fact, if you can't ask the question yourself, ask me. I will forward it to the group and answer it. We want to really, really equip you to address this. All right? What we just did here now is Indomie. We have not started cooking the real food. I think this should be the... Okay. If you have been sexually addicted, but it's now at equilibrium point, thank you for whoever wrote this, for mentioning that equilibrium. It means you learned. If you have been sexually addicted, but it's now at equilibrium point, how do you do? Number one, get yourself to be totally free, especially when you don't really know how you get to the equilibrium point. Please, if you are using mic, make it very, very snappy. What's the time? We have 5 minutes.
Okay, I actually have 2 questions.
Hi.
The first one, you talked about soul tie.
Yes.
And something came to my mind, a post on X, where the person was actually making a boast with it that the issue of soul tie is a scam. He has actually had this record that mingled with a lot of persons and nothing is holding them together. Life continues. And you see that claim being made by a lot of persons.
That person is a very perverted person, number one, because sex for that person has been perverted. So such a person objectifies people. All right? If you objectify an individual, you can't connect emotionally. That's what prostitutes do. One prostitute must have slept with about 200 persons and does not have any emotional connection with them. I don't know if you understand. Because he objectifies the individuals. So when you see them as objects, you don't trigger emotion to connect with it. I don't know if you understand. That's why a prostitute can be doing whatever but does not connect. And even if you're having sexual affair with your spouse and she's reading newspaper, brother, stop. Stop. Because there has to be emotional connection. There has to be emotional connection. Very, very, very important. So this person is not having sex. He's a perverted person. So he objectifies people, and no matter what, there can be soul tie. But soul tie is in the Bible. When you look at Genesis chapter 34, read it from verse 1 down to 6. The case of Shechem, who went and raped Dinah, the daughter of Jacob. The Bible said immediately after raping, the soul was drawn to her. I don't know if you understand. So it's not a scam. Otherwise, the Bible is a scam. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. The second one is, you talked about battling addiction, and you talked about going anti-clockwise.
Yes.
Starting from 100.
Yes.
At such high points, what are those ways that you will take, especially as it concerns neurochemical reasons for that addiction? What are those ways that you will take to battle when it is at its high point and you're facing it head on to go back?
Those are those highlights. You see all these things I mentioned, highlight here, the teaching method and all of the treating method, I mentioned highlight. When we begin to explain each of them how it works, we will answer this your question. Now, the app you were asked to download is a therapeutic app. It's designed to last for 90 days. And for every hour, when you go through the app, for every hour, you have what to do. You have assignment to do. Now, we have to put it in an app so that it can be in your phone. Nobody knows what you are doing. Before now, it was in a book. And so if you knew about that book and you see me carrying it, this brought you why it say they pray tongues. Well. So this guy, they suffer addiction. Now, wow. How you manage the cover up like this? So to avoid all of that embarrassment, we have to put it inside an app. So you can be pressing phone, nobody knows what you are doing. So download it. In that group, we will explain in detail how you can use it. So that if you have somebody suffering from addiction, and it's not just sex addiction, that app can help stop any bad habits. Yes. All right. I think, okay, so second to the last. Okay. What is the difference between someone that is possessed and someone that is demonized? Hello? Hello? The two differences here is ownership and manipulation. In possess is your possession. You own it. Ownership. I don't know if you, as you are seated here, you have been, the Bible said in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, from verse 20, it said that you have been bought with a price. You are no longer your own. Therefore, glorify God with your body. So you are no longer your own. God owns you. He's the one that has, you are his possession. You are now in his possession. But demonization can manipulate. All right? Even though you are a Christian, possessed by God, demons can manipulate you. Just like they wanted to manipulate Peter. And Jesus said, "Get behind me, Satan." Satan was not possessing Peter. He was manipulating Peter to say or act in a certain way. So that's the difference between demonized and, so we have two. Okay. Okay. Does the history of sexual addiction have any link of having, okay, I think we have addressed that. What is the difference between someone, okay, we have done that. Aside from being sexual addict, can one harbor sexual thought freely? Perhaps biologically, yes. Hello? As I wrap up with this, just because you had sexual thought does not even mean you have sinned. It means you are a human. But processing that thought is where the problem is. We have different types of thought. We have programmed thought, we have projected thought, we have manipulated thought, spontaneous thought. So all of these thoughts are diverse ways that we can relate with that sexual content. All right? Just because you saw somebody who is naked doesn't mean you have sinned. But because you began processing and lusting after it, that is where sin now comes in. All right? So if you have been free from addiction, it doesn't mean that sexual thought, you are a human being, it will continue to come. All right? But it's the consistency in the direction of the therapeutic measures that has been given to you that you will overcome. So we will meet again in the WhatsApp group where we are going to go deeper in each of these things we have said. Until then, thank you and God bless you.